Hello everybody, it's another video from myself. Today I'm going to talk about permanent residence based on financial independence for South Africa. So South Africa obviously offers various routes to permanent residence, and the financial independence is a common and well-used route. And I would like to introduce this in a bit more detail in this fairly short video. Okay, so everybody actually over the age of 18 can apply for permanent residence based on financial independence. There's no minimum age requirement, okay, and there's also no practically any requirement enforced by the missions, unlike, for instance, at the retirement section or part. So you can do this. So what is the requirement? Basically, the only requirement is that your prescribed net worth is in excess of 12 million rand worldwide, okay? So 12 million rand, depending on the exchange rate, at the moment it's probably around $650,000, $700,000. And any assets count in there, so real estate, dividends, stock portfolios, etc., right, and company shares. That's quite interesting. A common question is, but how much must I invest in South Africa? And the answer is none, not 1 single cent, okay? I do think that the government should maybe think this over, but that's a video for another day. But at the moment, you only need to show that your net assets are exceeding of the 12 million rand. Now, how do you prove the net assets? Okay, so it depends a little bit where you submit. So we prefer to submit the permanent residence really in South Africa because there's a VFS tracking system, a tracking number, and we find this easier than if you submit your permanent residence overseas. But should you opt for submission overseas, and in particular Berlin is quite harsh. They want to see all your assets. They want to see whatever you have. They're going to want to see your house you live in, your accounts and potentially saving accounts, stock portfolio. So they want to get a comprehensive overview of your assets, and they're not going to focus purely on achieving the net assets. But the argument is obviously that they need to see how much debt you have in order to calculate the net assets. My problem with this is a little bit data protection, and quite frankly, we had incidents a few years back in New York of identity theft, because the documents you're submitting obviously are quite comprehensive. So I'm a bit wary. I don't fully understand why they're insisting on this, and I have flagged this to the authorities. But that's something, well, you have to deal with. So what we do in practice is that we're going to ask a South African chartered accountant to confirm your net assets. This is not a requirement by law anymore. It used to be, but it's not. However, we find it adds real value to the authorities to confirm the net assets. Okay, so we use this chartered accountant certificate, and then we add obviously the objective proof of the net assets, bank statements, purchase price of a house, etc., etc. Okay. And then the only thing I need to still tell you is basically a lot of clients ask me, okay, so what's the processing time? And I will say, well, at the moment, probably 3 to 4 years. And they say, well, 3 to 4 years, that's just very long. Yes, in particular considering that you need to pay 120,000 Rand, the main applicant, to the Department of Home Affairs once you receive your permanent residence or when it is ready for issuance or printing, okay? So very important, it's not an application fee. You need to pay it when it's ready for being printed, okay? Then you need to pay this, and then with the proof of payment, you get your certificate, okay? Another question I get asked a lot is that per person, for a couple, for instance, or is it for the main applicant? The good news is it's for the main applicant. The reason for this is that the main applicant only applies in this section, 27 of our Immigration Act, and the spouse would actually apply in a different section. So the application fee is only, well, actually the success fee is only payable once. Okay. Now, considering the potential fee income, one would think that the Department of Home Affairs maybe adjudicates them faster, or at least in line with critical skills and business visas, but that's not the case. You're landing on the same pile like all the others and wait a long time, which is very unfortunate. I think Home Affairs should maybe change that and close their budget holes there. But be it as it may, these are the only requirements. So it's really not comparable internationally. It's not a lot. Also, the fact that you don't have to invest a single cent in South Africa is quite unique, because a lot of countries in the world have obviously investment visas or investment residence, but then they require the investment in local bonds or some other, real estate. South Africa doesn't have that. They might change this soon, but at the moment, net assets, that's it, and 120,000 and you're in. And then once you have the permanent residence, you can actually do whatever you like in South Africa. I've explained this in my lengthy video about the permanent residences. You also find on the YouTube channel. I think this is it for today. Fairly short. If you have further questions, please contact us, and goodbye.